and girls. Live from the Ministry League studios in North Georgia, each week with John the Professor Podein and Paul Superman Spurlin, and with producer Caleb Sampson behind the glass on the Ministry League Network. And on all your other favorite platforms, here with all your ministry talk and the latest in news and sports. It's the John and Paul Show live.
Whoops!
Like, wait a minute.
So that's what happens when you're out of practice.
It's been 3-4 months since we've done that, so a little sorry on that. But it was exciting to hear it. It kind of gets the juices flowing a little bit. Kind of excited about the show, about ministry, about the time the three of us get to spend this time together, which is really cool. This is the John and Paul Show, brought to you by Ministry League. You can find us at ministryleague.com, all over social media with Ministry League. So many things going on, a lot going on in our lives. I know he took the summer off and a little more time because a lot of other things going on with an overseas trip to confirm an event next year, but also Rush at Freed Hardeman last weekend. And John and I have been and above all of that else is our local works that are going on. John Podein from Calhoun Church of Christ, myself, Paul Spurlin, Piedmont Road Church of Christ, and of course Caleb with Heritage Christian University over in Florence. So excited to be with you and to share some things with you today, John.
Oh man, it is. Yeah, we got so much stuff going on, Paul. It feels good to be back in the house here, to finally be able to do a couple of things. But as soon as we're done, I'm on the road heading back, heading south. So yeah. How are things down in marvelous Piedmont Road Church of Christ today? Things
are great. Things are good. We are in the middle, towards the last leg of the North Georgia Fair. We have a table set up there. About 60 of our folks volunteered to go down there and share the good word and things like that. Really, of course, worship last night, Bible study last night. Me and Les teaching a class on the church. Really cool. Really enjoy that. And just good to be together with the good folks here for sure.
Absolutely. And it's good to see old Caleb again. We haven't had a chance to see Caleb in a while, and to come and be a part of things.
Caleb, I feel somewhat offended by that.
Man, look, just come on and join the rest of us here.
I was going to say.
We were talking about Paul's gray hair. I mean, I'm just gray. And
hey, at least y'all have hair.
That is true. That is true.
And Caleb is the youngest of all of us. Let's just be honest.
He is.
But I think above all else, I think everyone needs their own bobblehead.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
I don't want a bobblehead, Paul.
That is so cool.
Don't get me a bobblehead.
Thank you to my preacher, Jake Sutton. How cool is that? Anyway.
That's cool.
All right. So we do want to talk real quick about some things that's going on, especially this month, really the month of September, when summer's over. Summer's crazy. You know, we direct a camp in Watoga and do some other things in summertime, but boy, September has really been crazy. How did John?
Oh, it has been one thing after another. Even as I got my watch stuff, more stuff coming back in, from camps to our work to overseas to we just finished Rush last weekend at Freed Hardeman, plus stuff we're doing personally. Paul, I don't know about you, but I have not caught back up on my sleep, probably from camp back in June. So, yeah, it's one thing I have recognized is what, you know what? We were joking about this earlier. We are not as young as we used to, and we are not recovering as fast as we used to.
No, we may look like it. We may make people feel that we are, but we're really not. The body, unfortunately, has caught up to the mind, and there we go. Will it ever catch up to the mind? No. Definitely pass up the mind. But yeah, we did make a trip early in September went to London. We went back to visit the congregation in which we started the Exposure Youth Camp internationally. and spent some good time with the church there. Met up with the Study Abroad group from Freed Hardeman, which was really neat. And then, of course, a few days later, took a train to Edinburgh, Scotland, and went around different locations, specifically to the location of our event next Labor Day. And so we are really excited. A lot of neat things, a lot of growth of that facility. And I had a chance to go there and walk it and take pictures and make the deposit and really get it foundationally set and ready to go. The brethren there are excited about it, and so we're excited about it. And it is set and ready to go for August 30 through September 2, and that is next year. But that isn't why we're here today, really. We have something else we really need to share with you, something that John and I have been passionate about for over a quarter century. Which talking about old. I know, right? Is Exposure Youth Camp 2023 in Huntsville, Alabama. We're literally here to tell you that registration opens on Sunday.
It is. I can't believe it. I can't believe now that you just said that. That makes it
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's begin. And thank you, Caleb, for that. Let's begin by directing everyone to the website, eyc.camp. Please refer to everything on that page, eyc.camp. Everything you need to know really is on the front page today. So go to the front page. You'll see the promo for the event. It'll show you who our keynote speakers are and the times and the dates and everything like that. Of course, Andrew Itson, Ralph Gilmore, and Chuck Monin will be our keynotes at night. And so excited about that, but also December 27th through 30, which is always the dates, no matter where it falls, always the dates. And then, of course, the registration stuff will follow.
Absolutely. We're excited. There are a few changes. That's why we really wanted to jump on here today to talk a little bit about, in particular, some of the pricing things. And we'll get to that in a second and of everything. But we are thrilled. Paul, we are expecting record numbers this year. We're expecting to break the 3,000 mark of people. It's funny being in our meeting, just, when we try to guess what kind of, I think even somebody hit 3,300 or something like that when they were guessing things out. So we are thrilled with that. But because of that, that has cost us, I shouldn't say it that way. That sounds bad. That has made the need for us to get not one, not five, not seven, but 10 hotels in the Huntsville area to be able to house all of us. And once again, Paul, that is record number. It
is. We're breaking records. Just call us the Atlanta Braves.
Yes. Give it up for Acuna.
We're breaking the numbers. We're making history. Let's go. Go Braves. But yeah, we are excited about it. A lot of good things, a lot of neat things, a lot of different things happening, different kind of entertainment for the year, different atmosphere so far as the faces you'll see, people coming that have never been to Exposure before. And so really excited about that. In large part, honestly, I have to say to the Freed Hardeman University for allowing us to run Rush this past weekend, which was phenomenal. Really appreciate the great folks there allowing us to do that, be a part of that. And so more information on that as we continue through the year to talk about that and plug that. Those good folks. But I do want to go ahead and say right now, and Freed Hardeman's a part of the group. Freed Hardeman, Heritage Christian University, Fulton University, they're already our platinum members. Vendors for Exposure Youth Camp. And so we couldn't do it without our vendors. So thank y'all for doing this. If you'd like to be a part of that, please send an email to caleb@ministryleague.com or send to gail@ministryleague.com. And they will talk to you and help you with the pricing and everything you need to be a vendor to share what you have with our event. It means so much on that. But again, all this stuff can be found right there on the website at eyc.com.
Absolutely. And I think, Paul, we probably need to go ahead and jump on in here a little bit and talk about, since registration is opening Sunday, there's a couple of things. I know there's one question that you have been receiving multiple times, and I think we probably should just go ahead and get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and talk about it.
I'm going to break the hearts of youth ministers everywhere.
Yeah, you are. This is all Paul's idea, everybody.
Let me throw 6 people under the bus right now. This was not Paul's. This was not what Paul wanted. Paul wanted other things, but it balances out to what needs to be done.
Right.
Okay. So please understand that we are on the same page on this. So I wasn't outvoted. We are together on this, but that's important for you to know that. Number one, let's not bury the lead. Here we go. There is no draft for the embassy this year. There cannot be. And the reason for that is, number one, we lost 3 floors in the hotel this year. No, big wind didn't come by and blow it away.
That happened here in Calhoun.
But that is in Calhoun. Yeah. But what is happening is they are renovating the floors. They're taking it 3 floors at a time, and they're actually starting about the time we get there. And so they're taking floor 8, 9, and 10. 8, 9, and 10, the top 3 floors. Let me go ahead and answer the next question for you. Yes, we are going to have the atrium singing of some type. Right. It may not be the atrium as you know it, but it may be as you know it. We don't know yet. We don't even know if those floors are even available to us to even stand on, if they're available for that at all. So we're not real sure about that, but we will know after our meeting in November. Stay tuned. We'll meet at least once a month here, getting closer to time as we get closer to time on that. So no draft.
And I think, Paul, we need to let everybody understand what we're talking about. When we're talking about taking off 3 floors, the top 3 floors, you're talking about taking nearly 45% of the space for people to stay. Normally, we put anywhere between 1,100, 1,200 people in there. Right now, we're looking at being able to max out 630-ish, 640-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's talking about maxing out the rooms. And we know how all of you love to max out rooms.
Not. Okay.
Okay, that's what the next part will come. But we want you to understand that's what we're talking about. And that's why, to be quite honest with you, it's just not really feasible to do the draft this year. You're talking about the draft then would have been done in 5 minutes of registration opening.
Correct, for sure. Another thing, too, that we're doing differently, which I don't think would even affect a draft. I still think we'd have the numbers and the people to do this is, and I hope that y'all appreciate this. If you stayed in the embassy last year, you'll not be in the embassy this year.
Right.
We just want to cycle and recycle people through so everyone gets a chance to stay in that hotel. Some people have been coming for a number of years who've never been in there. Now, here's how you get in there if you want even a chance for it. And this isn't a draft, but let me just tell you, this is how you get as close as you can. We have about 4 hotels within walking distance of the BBC right now. Short of just naming them. I mean, obviously you have half of the embassy. You have the Hamptons Suites, which is right across the street. Beautiful, brand new. It's a year old. And then you have Homewood Suites, which is down the road. Didn't have it last year. We got it back this year. And then Spring Hill Suites, which is right behind the Von Braun Center. We'll probably be able to put about 1,500, near 1,500, 1,700 around there. The way to get in that spot, and that's what you want. That's really what you want at this point. But the only way to get that is for you to register properly, to pay properly within the month of October. I think it's safe to say. The month of October, if you will do that, that's early registration. That first month is early registration. If you will go ahead and register, when I say properly, I need names of real people. And I need to pay with credit card, preferably. But if not, a check needs to be to us.
Right.
And not in the mail. We need to have it in October. You have a month. So I think we can do that. Now, let me get back to the registering people. In past, people like to put, people like Superman, Batman, and Robin as your campers in those rooms. Please don't do that. Don't take your small child's favorite characters and put them as people. When we see that, we're going to drop it to the bottom of the list. And so that's something you need to consider. Regardless of how small or how large your group may be, please don't hold spots. Do the registration now. You've got a week. You've got basically really got a month and a week. But to get everything in, to get the money in by Halloween is really what we're asking for. If you do that, there's a good chance you're going to be somewhere in those 4 hotels. That's a good chance. It's safe to say. John, anything on that before we get into the numbers?
No, I think that's the key. And the biggest thing, and please, we're begging you, we are looking at record numbers. We're talking about 3,000 people. We're not talking about a 500 event, 500 person event. We're not talking about it. And let's be honest for a moment too, if we can, and just be frank. There's not another event that has this many people that is needing the information far as the people, because of the uniqueness of what we do with exposure, in particular with dividing teams, to need all this information. When you go, well, even what we did at Rush, when you go to CYC, which we were a part of, and that we go into, most of it is, well, how many spots do you need? But because we are handling the hotels, because we are splitting up teams, we need accurate information. And when we're talking about 3,000 people, I have a job, finishing a doctorate degree, and other stuff. Paul has a job. Paul has a family. Paul has 30 other things he's doing. Kelly, who handles our registration, she's a secretary. She's a grandmother. She's a wife, elder's wife in particular, and has all these things. Please help make it easier on us, where one of us are not having to chase you down and say, I need actual names. And that is what Paul is getting at, that if you don't register properly, if we got to go and do this, honestly, we're going to bump you down. And we don't mean that in an ugly way. We're just being as transparent as we can. We can't chase 3,000 people around to try to find this information.
Correct. Absolutely.
What does that mean?
No, I think it's real. We want to be real people. And I'm telling you right now, and this will probably be set on the Ministry League page, the exposure page here on Facebook, probably on Instagram as well. We'll probably try it on the website too. Please communicate this to anyone who you think is going, who might go, who has gone, who are going. Please get this to them, okay? Because we usually find out that some people don't get the information, but we're trying our very best to get to every possible way through the newsletter, through the website. It's really the website's the way to go. It's really the way to go.
Absolutely.
So please always return there to get the stuff you need. This will be on there. We'll have this available there as well. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. Over the past 3 or 4 years, we've been at 175 every year without fail on the early bird special, if you want to call it that. And we've been very good about trying to maintain that cost. And what we do is we look at other camps, summer camps, where it's 110 degrees. This is not one of those camps. We're in a hotel. It's the most comfortable you'll probably ever be in a camp. So we want to make sure and communicate to you that we really did a lot of work and study on this. So we did have to raise our prices because the hotels are raising their prices. And just because I know some people will ask, I've already gotten this question too. How tied are we to Huntsville? Very much tied to Huntsville. We will be in Huntsville until 2026. That's our contracts take us to 2026.
Well, let's be frank here for a second too, since especially I do work with lads and getting in there. Paul has done work with hotels for years, since always doing this. To find a location that can house 3,000 people in it, you're talking about major cities like in Atlanta, a Nashville, or an Orlando. Not even sure. I don't think Birmingham could do us at this point, could host us at this point, maybe in downtown, since they've redone some stuff. But when you're talking about going to major markets like that, just for a clue, it would nearly double the hotel price. It would almost double the hotel price per room versus what we are getting right now in Huntsville.
Right. And coupled with that too is also having the team space.
Correct.
So the hotel is important, number one, but team space, number two, to have 50 spots. And in some cases, we double those rooms up to make that happen. And if we have to, that's what we'll do. But hopefully we won't be there quite just yet.
Yeah, and Paul, this is the same challenge people often ask with Lads to Leaders about them. This is the same challenge with Lads to Leaders. That's why you have Lads to Leaders in Louisville, in Nashville, in Atlanta, in Orlando, in Dallas, in these major markets that have the room space.
And as much as I love and would love another Exposure Youth Camp in ATL, it seems like when you talk to people, especially this past week, it was kind of funny. I thought, have you been to Exposure? And they always reference 14, the big year.
when we did it in Atlanta.
It's almost like, with Star Wars, there's a certain thing that the explosion of the Death Star that describes the timeline. The timeline of exposure is 14. Parking buses. Yes, we're in one hotel. Yes, but there's a lot of things that we missed out on because of those things. And again, wish we go back there. I don't know, but right now we're at the right place, and so bear with us on that. So that being said, and hotel prices going up, even wherever we are, our starting price is going to be $210 per person. When you go on registration on Sunday at midnight all the way through the day as it starts, registration per person is going to read $210 per person. That's how you're going to see it. That's how you're going to read it. But here we need to communicate exactly what that means. It is essential for us and to be able to keep it to where we get to handle putting folks in the hotels and to have these contracts and to make these things happen is we need to put the maximum number that we can in the rooms provided.
Absolutely.
So the cost is $210, but that is if we can put 4 people per room. Okay. Right. So if you have a double bedroom, we need you to put 4 people. So it's $210. If for some reason you have to put 3 people in a 4-person room, the cost is going to be $225. $225 for 3 people in that 4-person room, or 3 people in a room. It really doesn't matter what number of beds. That's just the way it has to be. And if you put 1 to 2 people, and sometimes you got a bus driver, sometimes an elder and his wife, you don't want to put kids in their room. I get it. But their room is going to be $210 per person. 1 and 2 people. Now, the registration format, what you're going to look at is going to say $210 per person. What we're letting you know is this is the cost, the framed out cost, and there's going to be some writing there at the bottom where you're going to understand and see. Yeah, it's on the website right there. What you're going to see is the understanding of us trying to recoup those missing spots as far as the numbers go, and that is what is so needed. But on the website, we're going to make sure when you register, you're going to see where $210 per person. We will send an invoice if you use those three or under people in those rooms, an invoice to recoup that other money. The registration will not say $210 for a 2-person room. It's going to be $250 for a 2-person room. It's going to say $210 for everybody. But if you have less than 4 in a room, then be ready for an email. That being said, let me try to communicate this. If you know ahead of time you need those things and you know you're going to need to put 2 people in a room, go ahead and make sure when you send your check or it'll have to be a check because credit card won't let you do it. Go ahead and send that check for the extra overage there, or else we'll have to send an email to request that. Am I saying that right, John? We're getting
we're getting some questions back I'm getting some text right now of making sure people understand. Let me see if we can explain it this way of why this is happening to everybody. For 45 years, Exposure has worked with hotels at a per person basis. So when you had 1 or 2 in a hotel room, it was still the same price per person if you had 6 in the hotel room. Hotels are not doing that anymore, especially following the pandemic, following all these things. Plus, we're using 10 different hotels. They are charging us per night now. So let us say, for the sake of math, that makes it easy, that a room is $100 per night, which I will go ahead and tell you is not the case. Is not the case. But let's just say, for instance, it's $100 per night. That room cost us $100 per night. So it's a $300 plus tax for the event that we are doing. If we put 1 person in that room, that costs us $300 for that room. If 1 person's in there, what that means is that's cost us $300 for that room. Plus we haven't paid for food yet. Plus we haven't paid for our speakers yet. Plus we haven't paid for entertainment yet and the rental facilities as well. So basically, when 1 person is in that room, it's hurting Exposure, and you're hurting the other people who are coming. Where if you put 4 people in that room, then that room becomes $25 a night per person. which means $75. And then when you tack on food, when you tack on the speaker fees, when you tack on rental fees and entertainment, you see where we get the 210 and why we are having to raise the cost per when you do that. Basically, if I can just put it this way, it is more equitable when we're doing it this way. And so when you were putting one or two in a room now, if we would have kept everybody at 210, you're really putting everybody who's paying 210 bearing the brunt. Let me just put it bluntly. If you put two people in a room and we kept it at $210 a person, we are negative $100 to $125 a person. And when you add that up, say over, let's say 1,000 people, then we are negative, what? $10,000, $100,000. So that's the situation we find ourselves in.
Now, as we continue with the price breakdown, please know after November 1st, all those numbers go up. They have to. They go up, looks like $25 per situation. So 210 is registration October. Starting November, it's going to be $235. So a 4-person room, $235 each. If you go ahead, and this is a question I think might come up, and I can't see the comments on mine. So John, if there's questions, you need to help me with them, or Caleb can bring them up to it and show them on the screen. But we want to make sure and communicate how important it is that we can answer any questions you may have along the lines of this. So please refer to the email address at the bottom of that front page, and that is hello@eyc.camp. Please send us all your questions, and we'd love to help you with that. All checks, it's down at the bottom. We'll go to Exposure Youth Camp, 1630 Piedmont Road, Marietta, Georgia, and that is 30066. That is the address, email address, and the physical address for Exposure Youth Camp. And that is where we are on that. Let me talk a little bit about late people coming in. If you get a room of 2 rooms, 4 per room, and you have someone later, like after the November 1st deadline or the early deadline to come in, we need to communicate that you understand they're still going to pay that $235. And it's great if they fit in that room. But if you have 3 or 4 coming in, they don't fit in that room, there will be no guarantee that they'll be where the other kids are, unless we contact you and you say it's okay to push us back somewhere else. So it's almost like you lose your place in line. So again, please don't reserve spots early. And you got to do the registration properly. You got to do the sign up properly. I know how teenagers can be. I understand. I did it 25 years. I understand. But you need to go ahead and set your time in your rooms and set and pay properly, and it'd be wise to where you could put a person in each room if you had to later on. But make sure you're paying the right thing for the right room to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paul, that we're just trying to make this as easy as possible. We know, because we're trying to make it as easy as possible on you. We have, as a board, discussed there are many different ways we could probably try to do this, but this is probably, it's more work for us, but it's easier on you, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's it. I mean, I
love that face, Paul, that you were just like, oh.
I mean, that's it. I don't know what to say. That's what it is. We wish everybody best. We are looking forward to the event. We're looking forward to it. We do have some new entertainment. I can say that no hockey this year. The Huntsville Havoc actually won't be even playing, so they won't even be there for that. But we'll have them to return the following year. We'll see what happens with that. But we want to share. We'll be very open, transparent about the event and what we do. And as John mentioned before, what event can you go to where all you got to do is sign up and go? You don't have to worry about hotels. You don't have to cook the food. You don't set a schedule.
The only thing you got to worry about is your meal coming and going, and that one meal when we're there
and getting them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You're right. We did want to give you that one time to be able to go out as a group to enjoy time together and kind of recoup things. Huntsville's full of stuff, and so a lot of
and
great
getting more full of stuff.
There's
stuff all over the place. It is the fastest, one of the, if not the fastest growing city, I think, in the South right now, and definitely in Alabama. Yeah. And so it is. And here's the thing, and you brought up something a second ago, Paul. Huntsville wants us there. We're, in case you are wondering what we have, where exposure fits in Huntsville City's thought processes. We are the second largest group that comes into the city of Huntsville behind NASA, when NASA has one of their events there in Huntsville. So that's what we're talking about. The city, the CVB, the Von Braun Center, they are always wanting to help and work and to find out ways that we can be here. So that's another reason why Huntsville's the home for Exposure Youth Camp.
Absolutely right.
So, and please, and please, Paul said the same. Go if you have any questions. Most of you have. Well, you probably have Paul's phone number or mine. If you know mine, if you want me to send an email, please don't hesitate to ask us questions. That's what we are here for. I will be driving today, but I will happily talk to you on the phone. Paul will be able to text you back, whatever it can be. Please don't hesitate to ask us.
I'm writing this number down so I remember that it's this. Yes. Okay. Let me go ahead and give you a number. And it should be on the website. I'm looking at the website. I don't see it. I know it's there somewhere. But the phone number is 770-383-1500. That's 770-383-1500. And those are our email addresses at the bottom of the screen. Let us know. Also, hello@eyc.camp. And that phone number will get you straight to us, and we'll talk to you about whatever you need to talk about. I had somebody just last night, I think, youth minister, known him all his life, literally almost all his life, asking him a bunch of questions through email. I just called him. I said, come on, let's just talk about this stuff. So we'll do that. We want to call you, want to talk to you, want to help you, want to encourage you in any ever possible way that we can to make this as seamless as it possibly can for y'all and for us. I will say this is kind of neat. We are adding 3 or 4 hotels we've never used before, newer hotels. Not real close, but not real far. Just down up University Boulevard, up where Madison Square Mall used to be, where Topgolf is. So that's where we got some more hotels over there, and we have discontinued using a particular hotel on south of town that we've had some issues with, and so that won't be an issue anymore. Paul,
I've got a question that has come in because our Facebook has quit working. That somebody has asked. If we are paying by credit card, will you send a link later to make up the difference if we have to pay more for the room with less people?
We'll either call or email. Unless you want to use that credit card again, we'll have PayPal available. Mm-hmm. So that will definitely be the case for that. Or if you'd rather just send a check later, that'd be good too. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Abraham.
We will call or send an email. Sorry, I'm responding back to the person here.
That's fine. It's fine. Anything else? Any other things? Any other comments popping up, John? I can't see them. Can you see?
No, this is actually sent to my phone.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, they're sending directly to me. All of this.
Text us now. It'd be awesome if y'all could go ahead and give us some questions right now, mm-hmm. so that while we're on here, so we can have them recorded and people can listen to them and follow them even later on.
Absolutely. Because we will, and Paul, I think that what we want people to understand is we are trying to be transparent. We're not trying to get rich on this at all. We're trying to pay the bills, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible and as equitable as possible for people. And let's say this, for about 65 to 70% of rooms are set the way they need to be set. And people do a very good job. You have always done a really good job. And sometimes things break up. One thing I told my group here is some of the ways that they had their room set up last year, because I had a lot of families go. I said, we're not going to be able to do this, or else you're going to have to pay more. And the families were like, okay, they were like, we'll either fix it or we'll pay more. And so it works out really, really well. In fact, the LJ Church, I saw that they had put something out last night about getting registration done and the elders helping the situation out with financially. And so people are getting creative to be able to do that. I guess I'll just leave it at that. So
a lot of congregations do. I know ours do. And I do want to make sure and communicate too, from what John said from that message that was just sent to him. You won't be able to pay for the exact number when you register if you're using a card. So you may want to think about register everybody 210, and then that overage, look it up, do the math, and just send us a check to that address at Piedmont Road, 1630 Piedmont Road, Marietta, Georgia. That'll be the easiest thing. Otherwise, we'll have to send an email or whatever on that. The reason why, of course, another thing for this price point, it allows us to stay here for 3 or 4 years. That was a big thing for us. We've always done that in the past. I think I can honestly say I don't think 2 years or 3 years in a row it's been 3 different things. Seems like we always try to keep the same thing as long as we possibly can.
Yep. Inflation's
hit us, and honestly, a lot of folks have said, I can't believe you hadn't gone up sooner. So had to do it. Here we are, and we're just hoping that it won't affect folks in a way that they can't do this. I know we at Piedmont Road do some special things for our kids and parents to allow them to be able to do that as well. So we made it part of the budget. It's a mission work in a lot of people's view. It's literally a mission work when you look at the ministry side of what we do for exposure. So a lot of really neat things to go along with that. And I know I said it before, I've got to do another shout out for Freed Hardeman and allowing us the way Rush was and our contribution to help with that work too. It means a lot. So thanks again to everybody over there for that.
Yeah, we are thrilled of all the different people that we are connecting with and partnering with, and it is fabulous.
Mm-hmm. What else, John?
We're just excited. We're thrilled with the theme Into Reality. We will probably come back on and do a show definitely before we start Exposure, talk a little bit about the classes, some of the classes that we will be having. We need to talk to you about a little bit, probably a couple of them, because a couple of them are, in particular, 3 or 4 of them are pretty deep and pretty raw. But we also believe that is where our young people are at. It's where we're at as a society, and there are just some questions that need to be addressed. And that we want you to make sure you're able to talk to your parents about this before their kids come, so they understand what we are going to be talking about. And this is in the spiritual challenge session. So, so we can talk more about those things later.
Great point. We should make sure, to communicate that what's coming before it happens, that you're prepared for these things. And you're right, it's been good. So also, if you're not following us on the group or the page on Facebook or Instagram, do that. Our social media is hopping, John. I mean, it's really going, and so we really appreciate Melissa Flanagan for helping us with that. Helping us for doing that and making it look good, and it's really spiked within the past couple of months, and so really appreciate her work on that. And it's a good way to communicate and see what's going on, all the latest, and that's where it's going to be. Do that, and of course on our show on Thursdays.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's right.
I don't have any other questions coming in, Paul. So.
Well, John.
Well, Paul.
That high-pitched well, Paul, means this is the show. Thanks so much for being here. We hope the things we've shared today has been helpful to you. Please forward this, share this as much as you can. Hit that click button for the arrow and share this all over the place. Folks need to know how this works. It has changed. It's going to end up benefiting all of us in the long run to be able to have this event for a long, long time. It means so much to us. Also, if you're a youth minister, a youth worker, if you're passionate about sharing messages with kids and you'd like to be a team leader, you're interested in that, please let us know that. Send us an email at hello@eyc.camp. And in the info, say to Will Tucker. Will Tucker's handling all our stuff.
Will Tucker.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And also send him a birthday wish. I think today's his birthday. So send him a birthday wish today. One of our board members. Appreciate him so much and all the work of all of our board members and all of our staff. I mean, there's probably, I'd say 30 to 50 people who work on this program all through the year. It means so much to us. Big shout out to all those good folks and everybody else who's involved. So for Caleb Sampson, who is in Flowtown, thank you so much for bringing us back to life and making us look good, and for putting a new coat of paint on the den in John's place. Thank you for having us and hosting us here. For John Podein, I'm Paul Spurlin. This has been the John and Paul Show. Thank you for watching. Have a great week, and God bless.